Poetry and self-expression through the written word for me was around before the ball.
Kind of walk me through when you first got into poetry.
I honestly couldn't even tell you, because I think it's been a part of my life since I started writing, really. I've always been interested in it. I've had some very close friends and role models in my life that use poetry to reach out into the community back where I'm from in Toronto, giving voices to people that didn't have voices. So as a kid, seeing people use their voice through poetry, expressing themselves through an art form of the written word was fascinating on one hand, but also something that I found I could use to express myself for myself. But it's been something, I've been doing in the shadows for a long time. I mean, to be honest, basketball is my biggest passion, and it's taken me all across the world and given me so many opportunities across the board. But poetry and self-expression through the written word for me was around before the ball. So like I said, one of my biggest role models growing up is a gentleman by the name of Ahmed Nazmi, and he showed me a lot about basketball, but also showed me a lot about art and expressing art. So he started a foundation in Toronto. It's called Speak Out Poetry, and they would go to different communities around the city that didn't necessarily get the opportunity to express their art forms, and he brought them to places like this around the city that were in the middle. So kind of giving kids opportunities to show what they were capable of outside of the communities that maybe were forgotten. So seeing that at a young age was a huge motivation for me to continue to kind of, in the shadows, dig into that side of myself, of self-expression through the written word. Poetry, art, basketball, I honestly don't see any separation at all to me. I think anytime you have love for something and you're passionate about something, you'll find a way to express yourself through it, and you'll find yourself in it. So through the written word, through poetry, and through my expression of myself through basketball, they're all different translations of the same message. So to me, they're one and the same. I hope any kids watching that think you have to be one thing, remember you can be literally anything, and you can be all things. So if you have something that you're passionate about, just because it may not be what someone expects of you, doesn't mean you shouldn't dive all the way into it and find yourself within it. I think that's what's beautiful about poetry to me. It's a great place for me to speak to myself and to learn about myself. And although I may be writing about different things and exploring different ideas and talking about different experiences, at the end of the day, it all comes back to me. And I think that's super important, especially as a young man for me growing up. Being able to look back on some of the things I wrote and see where I was mentally, see where I was emotionally, see where I was in time and space, and be able to be grateful for where I am now and watch my own evolution. So for any kids that have something that they feel passionate about, regardless of what it is, chase your dreams.
How do you think writing has helped you get through just the everyday grind of the NBA?
It's been huge for me because it's a place where I can find peace. And I think no matter what your profession is, no matter what circumstances you're in, whether you're in school or not, the routine of life can kind of get you out of rhythm at times in terms of with you and yourself. So for me to be able to sit down and write, I step away from some of the responsibilities and step away from some of the stress, and I'm able to check in with myself, which I think is super important.
Yeah, talk to me about the poem you're reading here today.
So we're here at Thanksgiving Hall, Thanksgiving Square, and the whole theme is about virtues. So they gave us a list of virtues, and mine is wisdom. So as a young man, I consider myself a young man. Unfortunately, in the league, I'm not a young man anymore. But I'm still on the path of trying to seek wisdom and try to understand wisdom. So my poem touches on some of the things that I've learned, and also coming from a humble place of I have a lot of questions still.
So what do you think your teammates think about you being a poet and doing this expression of art?
Guess we'll find out. We shall see.
What are you excited about most with today is just being here in this artistic space?
This is actually, I came last night just to kind of see the space, but this is my first time really being here, and this is like a really beautiful gem that's kind of tucked away in downtown Dallas. So just being here first and foremost is an honor. I'm blessed to be a part of this. But I'm most excited to hear the other poets and see what they have to say and hear their art. I've done a little bit of, public forum stuff and open mics and different poetry nights, but this is a little bit more special, feels like. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
You gonna do more in the future?
Hopefully they'll keep me. I don't get booed.
That's good.